Hi, I'm Karen.
Hi, and I'm Renee, and welcome to thebakingshow.com.
Today we're going to make cinnamon rolls, and I'm so excited because I have never been able to do this successfully. So Renee has an awesome recipe, so we'll get right to the ingredients.
Yeah, and it's really easy to make, and these are awesome cinnamon rolls. You're gonna love them. Okay, so what we have today is 1 cup of warm water. It should be between 100 and 105 degrees. We have 2 packets of dry yeast, and if you're using the bottle, the yeast that's in the bottle, it is 4½ teaspoons. We have 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2/3 cup sugar, 1 cup of warm milk, and again it should be about 100, 105 degrees. We have 5 ounces of melted butter, or 2/3 of a cup. We have 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 eggs that are slightly beaten, and 7¼ cups flour. So the first step, Karen, is to proof the yeast. So would you like to pour the yeast into the warm water?
Sure. And just sprinkle it on the top?
Mm-hmm. Sprinkle it on the top. Great. And then we're going to add the 1 teaspoon of sugar because that helps feed the yeast.
I wondered why you had that separated.
Right,
Okay.
and that'll make it proof. And proofing, it's going to come, and it's just going to bubble up. Is what the yeast is going to do, and foam on the top. So you might want to make sure you stir it, and then we just leave it alone. And let's move it.
Don't disturb it again so that it can rise. Right.
Okay, great. While we're waiting for the yeast to proof, let's just put the rest of the stuff together. So we're going to take the 2/3 cup of sugar, pop it on in.
Okay.
Okay, we can pour the milk in.
Just don't breathe, right?
Yeah, I know. Fume goes up. And then we'll take the butter and we'll just put that in here. And do you want to get the salt here?
Mm-hmm.
Put that in.
There we go.
Okay, and then the eggs.
All at once?
Yes, ma'am. And then we're going to mix this up. So you're going to start when you do this recipe with your beater, the paddle attachment. And then we're going to beat this up. Let me make sure I have that on low. Do you ever like not check your beater?
Yes.
Speed and you turn it on and it just
It goes everywhere.
Yeah. Alright, we'll turn that up a little bit. And we'll just let that beat for just about 30 seconds. Wow, look what we found. This is this is a Cuisinart, and it comes with a shield, and I've never used it, but I just realized this would be really good. Okay, so this is our yeast, and it has proofed. It's nice and bubbly.
Look at that foam.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, nice stuff.
So this is a good active yeast. So we are going to pour it into the recipe. Hey, that works really nice. It's wonderful. Okay, and then we're going to beat that just a little bit, and then we're going to add the flour a cup at a time. No splashback. That's pretty cool. Okay, so once we've let that mix, now we're going to add the flour a cup at a time. And we're going to add about maybe 4 cups, and then we're going to change it to
the dough hook.
Thank you.
Okay.
To the dough hook. Alright, so this is why we start with the paddle hook, the paddle attachment, because it's kind of soupy, as you can see, and it would take forever with the dough hook. So this is 4 cups in. We're probably going to add 2 more, and then we're going to switch to the dough hook. 6 cups mixed in, flour, and now we're going to switch to the dough hook and add the remaining. This recipe calls for between 7 to 8 cups of flour. I found, we live at a higher altitude, so I found that 7¼ cups works well. You're going to have to play with this a little bit to find out in your area what works the best.
Okay, 1 more cup going in.
We have a greased bowl standing by. You can grease it with butter or you can grease it with corn oil, vegetable oil. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take this, and you're going to have to scrape this one a little bit because it is a little bit sticky.
But you can tell that it's done because it started cleaning the bowl.
Right, when you were, when it was beating.
Right. See if I can help a little bit here.
Hold this,
There we go.
and I'm going to take it and just pour it in.
And so for folks who are trying to determine the right texture for what this dough should be like when it's ready.
This will stick to your fingers a little bit.
sticky.
Some of the breads that we had made or the pizza dough we made, it didn't stick to your fingers. corners like this. So this is a little bit sticky. So again, you want to put it in the bowl, turn it, and then flip it over so it doesn't dry while it's rising. And then it's wet. So we're going to cover it up with plastic and just let it rise for about an hour and a half.
I love dough.
The dough has risen beautifully. It's come to the top.
Oh, it is a thing
So
of
it's
beauty.
like double its size, right? Nice and soft. So we're going to take it, and this is a lightly floured board. We're going to put it in the center here, and then we're going to roll it out into a rectangle. I had to touch it, I'm sorry. Lovely.
Beautiful.
Which is just about the size of this. So I'm just going to roll it out nice and thin. It's going to be like, probably a 1/8 to 1/4 thickness.
That's beautiful. Yeah, no wonder my cinnamon rolls didn't turn out.
Hardest part is to make it into a rectangle. This board is about 2 feet by 2 feet, so we've rolled this out almost to the size of the board and somewhat to a rectangular shape. It's not easy to get it perfectly rectangular. So now we're going to take about, this is a cup of butter. We're going to take probably about half of this, and we're going to just slather it all over the dough until it's all. And now we have a cup of sugar with 3 tablespoons of cinnamon in it. And we're going to take that, and you just use your hand and you just spread it all over the dough. You want to put it just about maybe a 1/2 inch away from the ends, because you're going to pick them up and roll it. So if you want to make your own cinnamon sugar, it is 1 cup cinnamon to 3 cups sugar. And then when it comes time when I do cinnamon rolls, I just reach in there
Just keep it on hand, and it'll
just
probably
pour it.
keep indefinitely, right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't go bad. It's good.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that it's covered really, really well. Okay, so now we're going to roll it up. You're going to take the bottom end, and we just lift it, and you just start making a little roll all the way.
I would help you, but generally it's going to be one person doing this, so I kind of want to see how you do it as a rule. So this is awesome.
And usually what you do as you roll it, you kind of tug it a little bit, and then roll it up, and then tug it and roll it up.
And crimping just a little bit.
Yeah. Just a little bit. And we just make a nice big, it's going to come out to a giant log. And then we're going to fold the ends in.
Okay, now for the important part. How do you seal it?
Well, I like to just bring it almost to the end, and then bring the end up and just pinch it into the dough. So it's sealed really well.
And it's okay to do that because once you put it in the pan, that sealed edge probably goes down on the bottom.
Right, and it's going to rise anyway. It's going to puff up again, and you won't even see it. And it makes your cinnamon rolls look really nice. And then on the end, you want to tuck this in. And if you have too much without any cinnamon, you can just cut a little bit off and then pinch it sealed closed too. Ooh, now as you can see, we have a nice log shape. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to measure them out. We do 1 3/4 inches, and we go all the way down. So we'll get about somewhere between 12 to 15 slices. Now, while I'm doing that, if you could take some of the butter, make sure that that's greased really well, bottoms and sides, and then you're going to take some sugar and sprinkle it on the bottom of the pan.
Okay. So I noticed you're using what is this called?
This is a bench knife. You use it a lot with bread doughs, but any sharp knife will do. And what I like to do is just measure out 1 3/4 inch and just make a mark in the dough here. And I use my trusty ruler and go all the way down. Okay, now this is all measured out, and then all we do is you take your sharp knife or your bench knife and you just go straight down and you cut it. Now when you put these in the pan, you want to make sure that they are not too close together because they need to spread a little bit. When I first made these, I kind of packed them in tight, and then the centers were doughy. So you want to give them a little room to spread because they'll fill up that space. Trust me.
And you don't necessarily have to make them very round. They will create their own space.
Nah, they'll just smush together.
Okay.
And they're gonna, and you can place them different ways in the pan, and it's gonna come out weird and different anyway. Okay, so once you have them set up in the pan, and there's some room where they can spread, you just spread some butter along the top of each one. You just let that butter drizzle down in there.
Can't go wrong with butter.
No, butter, sugar, cinnamon. All good.
But you can smell this, it is wonderful.
Okay, so you do each one, and then you're going to take some cinnamon sugar again, and you're going to put it on the top. Now I used all the cinnamon sugar to go inside, so I just have a little bit more, and I spread it on the top of each one. And this makes it taste really good so that if you don't really like the icing, These are good to eat just all by themselves, but believe me, the icing is fabulous. All right, so after we had put the cinnamon sugar on in the butter, you would cover them and let them do a second rise. This is what they look like after a second rise. So you can see that all the spaces is all filled in, and the rolls have puffed up considerably. Now we're going to pop them in the oven for 20, depending on where you are. Like here at the higher altitude, I can usually do this in 22 minutes, but if you're at sea level or lower, it may take 25 to 30 minutes. A good way to tell when they're done, one, they're going to be golden brown, but two, if you use an instant read thermometer, you put it in, it should hit 181 to 183 degrees, and they are done.
Okay, so Renee, we need to make the glaze for your cinnamon buns. So this is 4 cups of powdered sugar, 2/3 cup of butter, 8 tablespoons of hot water, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla.
That's it.
So just start.
Right, we're just going to pour it all in, and we're going to mix it all up. And it comes out to a wonderful glaze. And then after your cinnamon rolls cool, obviously, you glaze the whole thing.
Now, this is an entire 8 cups. Do you want it all in at once?
You know what?
Or,
We're
sorry,
going
8 tablespoons.
to add those actually one by one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to add a little bit at a time. Usually you put a teaspoon in at a time. All right, the glaze is mixed and it is now spreadable. So you don't want it super thick and you don't want it super thin. It should be somewhere in the consistency in the middle. Alrighty, our cinnamon rolls are done and they're beautiful. And boy, I wish you could smell this. The cinnamon is just awesome.
And the yeast and the sugar. It's wonderful.
It's all good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut one out and we're going to ice it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. To really enjoy this, and they're cold, you want to pop them in the microwave for about 30 to 40 seconds, and then the the icing just remelts right into it. And it's fabulous. And you can find this wonderful recipe on bakingshow.com.